Boxing UK. My name is Rack Noble. I'm here with Adam Morallee, manager of Joyce. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, good. Relieved and happy.
So this fight's been some time coming, finally got over the line. What was it about this time that got over the line that couldn't do last time?
I mean, look, last time it was Frank Warren dealing with Joe Parker and David Higgins, trying to lock them into a longer term deal. This time it was Frank Warren dealing with Ben Shalom with Higgins and Parker in the background. So I think ultimately the desire of Sky and Boxer and BT and Warren to get this deal done pushed it over the line.
So of course Joyce, Olympic silver medalist, pretty destructive in his pro career, but this is no doubt the biggest step of his career so far. How do you see this one going out with former world champion Joseph Parker?
I think Joseph Parker's elite. He's got lots of elite qualities. Primarily among them his hand speed, his durability, never been stopped. I think it's an incredibly close fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight until you get to rounds 9, 10, 11, 12 when the Juggernaut shows his elite engine and stops him late.
So of course there was back and forth between the two about A side and the B side. From Team Joyce's side, why did you believe going into this fight Team Joyce is the A side where Parker was the former world champion?
Joe's the A side because he's got the number one spot, and the number one spot is the mandatory spot. And if Joe sits here, doesn't fight anyone, he gets to fight for the world title. So that's why he is currently the A side. He's number 2 with the WBC, so he's the A side, and that's why we got a one-way rematch clause.
Talking about that rematch clause, if the rematch is to happen, would that be happening on Sky or would it be happening on BT?
Sky.
I can imagine the team's fully confident there's going to be no need for a rematch, is there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, you can interpret it in two ways. You can say, someone's concerned they'll lose, but boxing's a business. We've worked really, really hard to get Joe where he is, and that's why you take out an insurance policy, and that's all it is.
Also, as we know, Joyce is the number 1 with the WBO. Parker is number 2. Is this counting as a final eliminator, or is that not being confirmed just yet?
It's not. It won't be a final eliminator. We want it to be for the interim version of the WBO world title, which they don't really hand out very often, and we're asking the WBO if they would make it for the interim title. We're hopeful, but nothing's happened yet.
And of course, AJ Usyk happening in 2 weeks' time. After this fight, will there be one more for Joe, or will he be going straight in for that mandatory position?
Let's see what happens. I mean, oftentimes with Joe, whenever we speak about his fights, it's like, what's next? What comes next? All we're focusing on is this fight. It's the Parker fight. It's huge, and that's all we're talking about.
And of course, this is a big occasion in that we've got a Queensberry fighter and a boxer fighter going at it, a cross-promotional event. Do you think after this happening now will make it easier for this to be happening in future and open up the doorway?
I really, really hope so. I mean, also remember they've come together in very difficult circumstances where Joe Parker's effectively left them for another promoter. Mm-hmm. So it's very emotional, and to create this fight in those circumstances bodes very well for the future.
And also just comment on the fact it's going to be in Manchester. Joyce, of course, being a Londoner. Was there any negotiations or any point where this could have been made in London, and why was Manchester decided in the end?
Do you know what? There's nothing in it other than it was the only big venue available. When you look for fights of this nature, you'll be looking at the O2, Wembley Arena, Manchester Arena, maybe you look at Birmingham sometimes, but Manchester Arena was available, so we went for it.
And I'll just go back to the previous negotiation between Frank and between Joseph Parker's team himself. Frank said there was a deal made. Parker was saying that it was changed last minute. What actually happened there? What is the true story behind that?
Listen, I don't actually know the full extent of that because that was private business between Parker and Warren, but as far as I understood it, they shook on a deal and Parker went back on it. Parker says something different. Parker says Warren went back on it. So where the truth is, probably lies between the two things. But from my side, I believe the Warrens, they're Joe's promoter. I thought that deal was locked in. I think what actually happened was they did do a deal, they did shake on it, and Parker got a better offer.
That sounds about right. Of course, that is business for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam, for your time. And just one more last. AJ Usyk, what are your predictions for that?
Look, I really love an Anthony Joshua win. I think it'd be amazing for British boxing. I'd absolutely love it, but I can't see past Usyk on points this time. He's just too skilled, too highly skilled. Probably the best boxer in the entire heavyweight division, bar Fury. And unless, if Joyce faces Usyk, it's going to be two completely different fighters fighting each other. Joyce just trying to walk through him, Usyk being elusive. I think it depends what AJ turns up, but I think Usyk on points.
So we could potentially be looking Joyce, Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, for a world title.
World title sometime next year.
Yeah, I think it'll be a terrific fight.
Thank you very much for your time, Adam. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks.